going, everybody? Welcome back to In the Pit with Steve. My name is Steve. It is currently 104 degrees outside. It feels like you're walking into Satan's butthole when you open the door. So I figured maybe we should check something out that's equally as extreme as the Dark Lord's Grundle. So I was trying to think of bands that whose name I have heard, but whose music I have not listened to. And last night I was flipping through YouTube and the name Brand of Sacrifice popped up, and I was like, I recognize that name, but I've never listened to them. Why don't we check them out? This is an older song. We're going to be looking at Demon King today. It looks like it was released the tail end of 2020. So, you know, definitely the most current releases here on the channel. But I want to check them out. I know nothing about the band other than that they are a heavy band. So I'm excited to see what brand, what brand of metal they bring forth. The heat has made me delirious. Yes. So without any further ado, let's get in the pit with Brand of Sacrifice. All right, before we get too much further into it, this is filthy sounding. I like this quite a bit. I really like the tone that they have sonically within this. I like the mixture of kind of the synthesizer stuff in the background, a little bit of noisy kind of stuff that they've added in there, kind of some effects type stuff. It's pretty cool. They have a really interesting overall package. The little section there with like switching between the blast beats and kind of like the start stop thing was pretty cool. His voice is very good. Like overall, I was definitely, you know, like I said, I didn't know what to expect. I had a feeling that they were probably on the deathcore side of things. But yeah, this is really solid. There's a lot of, you know, the deathcore genre, the extreme metal genre in general has an issue that has plagued it for quite some time of a lot of bands starting to blend together and sound kind of samey. And I think that's a lot of the reason why some of the bigger bands that were associated with the genre really started to branch out and adjust their sound, that they no longer would just kind of be classified under that, you know, generic deathcore umbrella. You know, Carnifex started incorporating a lot of black metal stuff. Lorna Shore has some of the orchestral stuff that they've been doing lately. Fit for an Autopsy is kind of become their own thing. You know, so it was nice to see some of those bands kind of, you know, forge their own path going forward. But sometimes you do just kind of want straightforward deathcore if it's done well and doesn't sound like something you've heard a million times. And so far, I'm digging this. This is kind of a nice like palate cleanser to kind of bring you back into the fold with that style of music. So yeah, let's continue on.
Survivalist based on my devotion. I will jump back for you, the
that synth melody adds quite a bit. All right. So they spent quite a bit of time in that kind of, pre-breakdown section. They were doing a lot of edging, if you will. They kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And then, they finally kick into the breakdown. I think they kind of lost it. The second half of the song is a little bit of a mess. That breakdown, it was a little bit slower than I expected. And there's nothing wrong with a slow breakdown, but it didn't really feel connected. It felt a little stuttery, a little kind of start and stop. I would have actually just preferred. It's funny because I was, earlier I was talking about you don't want to sound generic. I kind of wanted them to just give us a straightforward generic breakdown. I actually think it would have serviced the song better in the long run. And I think they had a hard time kind of recovering that. They did the kind of weird post breakdown kick back into the chorus section, which I think maybe would have worked a little bit better if the breakdown wasn't so kind of disconnected in a way. The song overall is fine. I don't have a problem with the song. I think it's a good song. I think it's a good introduction to the band. It's got me interested in hearing more. Certainly didn't put me off from the band. I'm not turned off from their sound or anything like that. I think that breakdown probably works a little bit better in a live situation than when I'm sitting here with cans on my head, just, listening to it, as normal. So I assume in a live concert setting, the place is probably going bananas and everybody's having a good old time. I think just ultimately from a production standpoint, from the structure of the song, it doesn't quite stick the landing. But that doesn't detract too much from the overall enjoyment of the song. I still think it's a ripping track. I love the little synthesizer parts that they add in, all the kind of cool production stuff they have added in there that I assume, probably just backing tracks when they play live so they can kind of keep that entire experience together. Overall, I liked it. I just wish that maybe the kind of they build up so much of the breakdown and then it's just kind of a tad bit of a letdown. But overall, I dig it. We'll be back in just a moment to finish up with some final thoughts. All right. So one of the things I've been doing over the past few videos is when I get into my final thoughts, I'm actually doing some research on these bands that I haven't heard before. So I pulled up their Wikipedia page. They're a Canadian band from Toronto, not too far away from me. It says they were inspired by the work of manga artist Kentaro Miura, specifically his Berserk series, which is they base much of their music on their work. I'm not a manga fan. I am not an anime fan. My best friend is kind of an expert in that department, so maybe I'll pick his brain to see if he kind of understands a little bit of that. It looks like they did some collaboration work with Lorna Shore, which makes sense. Their lead singer, Kyle Anderson, has quite a bit of a similar style to Mr. Will Ramos. That definitely makes sense. And yeah, not around as long as I thought. 2018, so definitely a little bit newer on the scene. Last album was 2021, so I assume that they're probably going to have something kicking around in the near future. Though it does say that they put out an EP of a handful of songs last year, so I'm curious to see what they have going forward. I want to say that they came around here as the opening band on something, on some type of touring package, but it's possible, maybe not. But I know that I have not personally seen them live. But yeah, they got a good sound going. They got a good thing going. Maybe we'll check out a newer song. You know, maybe one of those 4 new songs that kind of came out within the last year or so, and maybe we can maybe we'll go through that. So yeah, if you're a fan of the band, leave me a comment down below with maybe where I should go next with checking them out. But that's going to do it for me. Thanks once again for getting in the pit, and we'll see you again real soon.